Good morning, good people. Wanted to take a brief moment to talk about a lot of things that I keep hearing about people of color and this coronavirus, and why it is they're stating many of us are predisposed to contracting this illness and succumbing to it, not only in the manner of being severely ill to it, but and even in instances of dying. When I'm growing up, we hear a lot about what happens to people that we know that are part of our older family members and contracting issues surrounding that of diabetes, high blood pressure, suffering renal failure or renal issues where they at some point have to go to the dialysis to now have their blood artificially cleaned because of a result of the failing of their kidneys. And so these are issues that, because of compromised immune systems, that I didn't hear what it is that could be done when I was coming up in regards to what can be done to prevent or stop these types of issues from occurring with us. And so you hear that we go to the doctor, we get the medication, and to be able to have a remedy for what it is that we're dealing with, we pop a pill in an effort to ease the pain or discomfort that comes from issues of having high blood sugar, high blood pressure, heart issues, renal failure, things of that nature. And so there are so many contributing factors that come with these issues, like poor diet, as well as a stressful lifestyle. And then with the stressful lifestyle, instead of always just finding a different way of dealing with the stress, we resort to things like alcohol or smoking or doing drugs or whatever the case may be, which makes a mockery of a condition that you may already have. I mean, if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, then we are smoking cigarettes or smoking anything else for that matter doesn't seem to be the answer to dealing with whatever it is that we're dealing with. And when we understand and wake up to what it is that these things are doing to us and how it is causing us to have such a hard life. I mean, when you're young, you never really consider or think about what it is that's going to happen or what these things are going to happen to us as we get older. And it's not until we get the diagnosis of what it is that this lifestyle has done to us that causes us to start to consider or think about what it is that we need to do to change them, long before this issue with the coronavirus. But now this virus is coming to now attack you with this compromised immune system because of the things that we have done. So as I'm hearing and constantly hearing those who are in power, who are talking about the things that are happening to people that look like me in regards to the issue with this coronavirus, I'm just seem to be drawn to just kind of share what it is that happens or that I have done that you could do yourself to be able to avoid these issues. I mean, a lot of times we say, oh, I can't exercise because of my schedule, or I just can't seem to keep up because of all the other things that I'm responsible for. Nothing but excuses, because whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to do it efficiently and be able to give it the proper attention it needs if you're not taking care of yourself? So it doesn't seem to make sense that you're making that as an excuse where you allow yourself to succumb to any type of illness or disease because you've decided that whatever it is that you're doing is more important than you. And so I think about what it is that I did, and I got told many things like, oh, you're going to get sick, or oh, you're not going to be able to have your system do what it is supposed to do because you're deciding to take on this certain lifestyle or this regimen that hasn't really been proven to do anything good for anyone. But I constantly seem to share it all the time, and I haven't yet to have anyone challenge me and state, well, yeah, I tried it, it didn't work, so I had to stop it. Whereas what it is that we're doing to ourselves, that the things that we've been taught, because we get most of our education from the time we're in the womb, from things we hear in utero, and up until about 4 to 7 years old. And then we hold on to those things because those people that we care about have taught us these things about how we eat and how we engage one another, what it is that makes us angry, what makes us happy, the language that we speak, and how we interact with one another because of what we saw our elders do, we now do as adults ourselves. All the other things that we get in regards to education, in regards to going to school, from the time that we know what school is to the time we either graduate from high school or go to college or what have you, and go on and use that education for our careers, and in some instances, how we engage those in our family. These things also should be in question as to whether or not it is lending success to our longevity and what it is that we need to do to live a long time, not just in the midst of a pandemic crisis, but all the time, being proactive rather than reactive. So my point in stating all these things that I'm stating is the time that we now take a real hard look at what it is that we're doing, how we're living our lives, and what it is that we're doing, not just how we interact with one another, how we esteem one another, how we, handle the stress that we're dealing with, but also what it is that we put into our bodies. If you know anything about how these issues or diseases come about, our bodies can only handle the certain things that we put in it in moderation. But we are part of a society that look at doing things of a gluttonous nature is where celebration happens. We eat excessively. Sometimes we drink excessively. And all these things has impacts that we're not aware of, that we don't really get to see what happens until later on, because there's so much that our organs can take as we are presenting them with these things that some are natural and unnatural. It's the unnatural that's really causing the problem. For example, high fructose corn syrup. It is something that is particularly unnatural because our body secretes ghrelin that gives us the hungry hormone, telling us, okay, we need some nutrients in here. We got to feed these cells so we can live and focus, what have you. Then after you've had your meal, leptin kicks in, tells your brain, okay, you're full, stop eating, you're done. But high fructose corn syrup have the chemicals in it to allow that signal of leptin to be sent to our brain, because it does not recognize it as food. That's why we continue to eat these things in excess, and it lends our body to a point where, okay, here's our pancreas and our liver sending all this insulin and bile to help digest this food. Like, okay, I've been doing this and it's not working, and I'm keep getting the signal to do so. It's not working, and somehow we're now getting sick, where we're suffering issues as a result of foods that we put in our body that our body is not designed to handle. And so someone say, well, Energized, what are you talking about? You're not a doctor. No, I'm not. But I can tell you this. I haven't taken medication for an issue regarding diabetes or high blood pressure for years. And the reason why I haven't is because instead of taking that medication, I just stop eating for a time period. So let my body do what is necessary and let my body heal from these issues naturally. Not only from what it is that I did that was irresponsible in regards to what I was putting in my body, but also from the impact from the medications that I had to take to manage these diseases. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. You don't have to do it cold turkey or have you just gradually just cut back the times when you eat to give your body a break. Because what happens is when you eat, your body solicits insulin from not just your pancreas, but also your liver as well. And now it's using that food as a source rather than those things that we have in us. And you can say, well, I'm not fat, so I'm not worried about it. Well, you have something called visceral fat. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. Visceral fat collects around your intestines, around your gut, and it interferes with the absorption of nutrients, not only from the food, but in some instances where, say, you stop eating and it can't come out, it has to be managed or dealt with. Some folks go to the gym and they do their exercises, what have you, to keep it up. But if you're not putting the things that you're supposed to in your body, and as visceral fat starts to infiltrate your systems inside your gut and your organs, you will contract the disease of insulin resistance, also known as diabetes. And in order to combat that, you have to now give your body a break from eating food so that it can work on those things. I mean, it's not like the food is going anywhere. We have food in abundance in this country. That's why I don't understand these issues of hunger, because we have so much of it. But what happens is we have been so programmed to be able to use food as a way of celebrating, or because it tastes good, we got to keep eating it. And this high fructose corn syrup is causing us to eat it more than what we're supposed to, and it's not doing us any good. It's actually doing more harm than good. Then we tend to put ourselves in a position where we become immune compromised. And being immune compromised because of the many things that we're exposed to regarding bacteria, parasites, as well as viruses, like the virus we're dealing with right now, and we become sick, wonder why it is that we become sick, and not consider the fact that is what we're doing to ourselves with these foods and things that we're eating. And now they are stating that many of us, because of these practices, are making us, or putting us in a position we're now predisposed of contracting this coronavirus that will cause us to get sick, and our body doesn't have the fighting chance because we've compromised our immune system because of these things that we've been doing to ourselves for such a long period of time. So my encouragement to you is to consider changing that. I mean, you have time to think about it. We're all in the house, and we're not supposed to be out because we don't want to not only expose ourselves, but if we already have this disease, spread it so that there's others who could possibly get sick and even die because they are vulnerable to have contracted this disease. And because of the things that has happened to them, whether it be that they actually did something to themselves because of how they ate, or they were exposed to things like those of other communication that have COPD and mesothelioma, where their oxygen is compromised because of these issues, that contracting this virus would have a field day and cause them to succumb because they're not getting the oxygen saturation in their body that is needed to be able to help them fight against this issue. So please strongly consider fast, detox, slow down, change your diet, eat things that are more of a plant-based. Even if you want to continue the other things, at least incorporate it. Have a meatless Monday or something that will help you not have to put these things in your body that's caused your body to become compromised and have you then get sick from this disease, and you not survive because of the practices that you have done historically, things that you were taught, not just as a child, but some things that you engage in as a teenager, young adult, and some of us even older adults, that's causing us to have issues in regards to what it is that we're doing as far as a practice when it comes down to our eating. Drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest so your body can get the necessary repair, so that although, yes, you're abstaining from food for a period of time, now your body can now get the repair it needs so that the rest can put you back together, and you'll have the energy that you need to be able to do whatever it is that you're doing, and the energy to be able to fight if you so happen to come in contact with this deadly disease. That's all I have. I just want to hope that I can encourage someone that can take something from what it is that I stated and make those necessary changes, because there are those who are looking at you and they know that whatever it is that you're doing, if they see it working for you, that they'll do it themselves so that they can lend some survival to you, because again, you are being pointed out as being the ones who are going to succumb to the disease because of the way that you're doing things. Just take those steps, because you are too valuable to allow anything to cause you to have to leave here sooner than you're expected to do so. The Energized Coach, just trying to help I can lend a encouraging word to someone who is worried that something may happen to them because they engage in the practice that caused them to have these issues that are causing you to be sick and not be able to fight against something that you have an opportunity to do so, and have been given the information and armed with the knowledge to be able to fight against something that is looking to not into your survival, but to take you out. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to ask me. I will be more than happy to give it to you to be able to help you live as long as possible. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Please protect yourself if you have to go out. And let's not let this disease cause us to leave here sooner than we're supposed to. We've already lost too many as it is. Peace.